for joining us on this Wednesday that kind of feels like a Tuesday. Meanwhile, a brand new email bombshell for Hillary Clinton on this Wednesday morning.
New claims that she and her staff tried to plant questions during her first hearing on Benghazi.
And this is hard to deny. Now Clinton is desperately trying to flip the script and turn everything upside down. Is anyone going to buy it? Mike Emanuel is live on the campaign trail. He's in Westchester, New York, near some private servers.
Brian Ainsley, Steve, good morning to you. Hillary Clinton is back home here in New York ahead of her appearance in a televised national security forum tonight. Clinton tried to go on offense yesterday in Tampa, attacking Donald Trump for his positions on national security and foreign policy. Tampa is the home of the U.S. military central command, so military issues should play big there. One example, Clinton criticized Trump for how he would take on the threat from ISIS.
He says he has a secret plan to defeat ISIS, but the secret is he has no plan. After all his talk, the only thing that is clear is he has no clue about what he's talking about.
My colleague Catherine Herridge is out with a new report on the Clinton team's collaboration with a key ally on Capitol Hill, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, ahead of a major Foreign Relations Committee hearing in January 2013 looking into the Benghazi terror attack. Then Clinton aide Philippe Rines emailed Chelsea Clinton, quote, "We wired it that Menendez would provide an opportunity to address two topics we needed to debunk: her actions, whereabouts on 9/11, and these emails from Chris Stevens about moving locations." The newly released email provided by Citizens United that led to this moment in the Foreign Relations Committee hearing.
Can you give us your insights on the decision-making process regarding the location of the mission? And as part of that, can you also, in your response, you touched upon it in your opening statement, but what actions were you and your staff taking the night of September 11th and into September the 12th?
We've gotten no comments so far from the Clinton campaign. Ainsley, Steve, Brian?
What are they supposed to say, Mike? They got caught. I mean, he read it exactly like the email said. It's to Chelsea. What are they going to say?
Excellent question. We're asking.
Right.
They have not responded.
You're right.
Right
I should
out of
have
the
asked
gate.
you that. I put you in a bad
So
situation.
she said, I want these topics discussed at the hearing. Right out of the gate, Senator Menendez. Those are the first topics he throws to her.
Yes, indeed. Followed the script well.
It is incredible.
The other big story out there is what has been revealed is that apparently it looks like right after, it started to hit the fan and the House started asking the Clintons to send the emails to them. They erased them all. So Congressman Jason Chaffetz, who's going to join Brian here in about 10 minutes, has sent a letter to the U.S. Attorney for D.C. to investigate why a staffer, after they were instructed, hold on to all that stuff forever until the end of the investigation, hit the delete button.
Right.
And did that, because that's against the law.
By the way, the whole convenience thing, she flipped back from a iPad to a BlackBerry or a private phone, back and forth, and I think we're missing the iPad.
We're missing, I think, 11 devices.
11 devices.
Who has 11 I can't even keep up with one.
Well, keep in mind, who keeps a hammer in their office to smash a BlackBerry?
Heather, how could you keep 11 devices in your clutch? Women, we can't. There's no room.
Right.
There's no room.
All right.
No, one at a time.
Meanwhile, one of the things that Hillary Clinton, it was revealed when she talked to the FBI, they said to her, that C in the quotations, that means classified, right? And she goes, I didn't realize that. Julian Assange was on last night and has proof that that was a lie. She knew exactly what the C stood for because he's got thousands of email. Watch.
Clinton says that she can't remember what a C in brackets stands for. Everyone in positions of government and in WikiLeaks knows it stands for classified confidential. And in fact, we have already released thousands of cables by Hillary Clinton. Here she is, Clinton. See, that's her signature, Clinton, with the C in bracket right there. Thousands of examples where she herself has used this C in brackets and signed it off.
So he's telling Sean Hannity last night that She sent thousands of emails and accepted thousands of emails with the C. I can understand if it's just one email and she wants to say she doesn't know what the C stands for. But thousands, her husband was president, she's been in politics for years, she knew what she was doing.
Plus, also, apparently, she used the C in the brackets.
Exactly.
And so she knew what it meant.
Nancy Pelosi made an effort yesterday to get Paul Ryan, the Speaker, to agree in a bipartisan way not to make public any of these hacked emails. Anything that's
so we can't see them.
Yeah, so we can't see them. I'm sure that's politically motivated, but nobody here on this couch supports what Julian Assange does. He's already done countless damage to us by combining with Bradley Manning, now in jail. What's his?
Yeah,
Chelsea Bradley, now in jail. And by releasing all these cables that did a lot of damage to us internationally. So we're not pro-hacking, but we're trying to say no one doubts the authenticity of what's going on behind closed doors.
Exactly.
All right. Meanwhile, a couple of days ago in Cleveland, Hillary Clinton had in total a giant cough-a-thon that lasted about 4 minutes. 2 minutes there in front of Tim Kaine, who's standing back there watching her cough, and then
did nothing.
And then on an airplane later. This was a big story on Drudge and other outlets. However, the mainstream media, not so much. We asked our brain room to do some checking into the first two nights, Monday and Tuesday. How much did they cover that? The coughing fits?
15 seconds on ABC on Monday night, nothing on Tuesday. Look, NBC didn't cover it at all. CBS didn't cover it at all either.
And on social media, when NBC did do something, they got rebuked for doing it from the campaign. Hillary Clinton struggles to fight back coughing attack is what was out there.
That was the NBC story that was put out by Andrew Rafferty, who's an NBC correspondent. He put out a 5-paragraph report.
Right. And Dan Pfeiffer, who, what is his title with the campaign? I didn't know he was.
Was an Obama former senior advisor.
Yeah, was. So he tweets this out. We'll be very curious to see whether NBC tries to justify this crap or just does this right thing and does the right thing and apologizes.
Then you got Hillary's campaign guy, Nick Merrill. He writes, "Get a life."
To the reporter.
Listen, the headline only said Hillary Clinton struggles to fight back coughing attack. It's not even that bad.
And it's been pointed out, too, the headlines of one story with John McCain. John McCain, most think, will not survive a second term in the White House when he was running for president.
Good point. Yeah, they were all over him with his help.
So it looks like all the pushback, it's press intimidation. You write a story about Hillary Clinton. However, if you go to the Drudge Report, every day he said stuff questioning, her health and stuff like that. These reports weren't even close to that, and yet Andrew Rafferty over at NBC really took some flack.
She had 2 coughing fits in one day.
4 minutes.
Did not report it.
4 minutes. Anyway, what do you think about that? Email us friends@foxnews.com.
Hillary Clinton may not be out of the woods just yet when it comes to her emails. Republican lawmakers now pushing to reopen the investigation after the FBI notes revealed that its IT staffer deleted Clinton's email archives after the House Benghazi Committee's order that Clinton keep all her emails. So what happens next? House Oversight Committee Jason Chaffetz is leading the charge for a new investigation. He joins us now. Chairman, what bothers you most about this?
That the House had been asking for documents. They're federal records. They're not Hillary Clinton's emails. They're federal records. And more than 2 years after she left office, suddenly, when the subpoena's in place, preservation order's in place, you have this high-level meeting with David Kendall, with Cheryl Mills, the top lieutenants there for Hillary Clinton. This is roughly March 25th of 2015. A couple days later, we don't know exactly what time, but within days, certainly less than a week later, there is a work order at Platte River Networks, and then these documents are destroyed using BleachBit, nonetheless, a tool to erase everything, and these are federal records that were under subpoena.
But the FBI knew this, saw these chain of events, and did nothing.
Well, that was curious. When we had our hearing with Director Comey, I asked him very specifically if he had looked at what Hillary Clinton had said under oath, and he said he never even looked at that type of thing, didn't even take it into consideration. So the House of Representatives got to stand up for itself. I'm tired of Congress and its feckless, just sending off letters and not doing anything. We actually have some equities here that we have to protect, and to protect those federal records.
This the whole system. If you could tell someone not to do something and they do it and there's no ramifications, what good is it to have super committee or have any of these committees? I want to bring you to what Hillary Clinton said yesterday in response to your calls for more hearings.
Do you
you have any concerns that emails were deleted after they were already supposed to be preserved, and did you ask for them to be deleted?
No, of course not. I have no concern on either count. None. And neither did the FBI. The congressman calling for more hearings is just a perfect segue because, you know, the FBI resolved all of this. Their report answered all the questions. The findings included debunking his latest conspiracy theories. I believe I have created so many jobs in the sort of conspiracy theory machine factory because, honestly, they never quit.
Between the smashing of the BlackBerries to the to the disappearing iPads, we're just getting to the surface of this, yet the FBI closed the book, Chairman.
Well, he said he never actually looked at what she testified in front of Congress. So I don't think Hillary Clinton gets it. The fact of the matter is they did not look at this. And the House of Representatives, also a branch of government, also gets to look into this. Of course we're going to do hearings. We're going to get to the truth of this. We're going to see. The FBI, since that time, has come out and said they found 14,900 more emails. The Associated Press is suing the State Department because they still can't even get Hillary Clinton's calendar from 2009. So there are a lot of documents and things out there the public has a right to have. They're federal records. They're not her emails. And we are going to get to the truth.
You wonder why she's lost about 12 points in the polls in 3 weeks. Chairman Jason Chaffetz, next thing you know, we'll be seeing you and James Comey soon because you're going to be calling out Comey for this, right?
Not necessarily the director. We got hearings. We got one on Thursday about the Freedom of Information Act. We got Monday where we're going to drag up the ODNI. We're going to bring up a representative from the Department of Justice. So there will be a series of hearings. Absolutely.
Thanks, Congressman Chaffetz. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You heard Heather's last story.
I mean, to each his own. It's something I wouldn't do. You know, his comments were there are injustices. There've always been injustices. You know, me personally, I would probably go about it a different way. You know, my question is, what happened last year? How come you didn't decide to do this last year or the year before that or the year before that? So I don't know, Colin, but again, to each his own. I don't really have a say on it, but I would never do that. My father was a military man, and, you know, he protected his country. Uncles are in law enforcement. You know, they go out and work hard every day. Just, you know, other ways to get your point across.
So you're an African American. And a lot of people feel as though, from your perspective, you should be standing with Colin Kaepernick, but you also are pro-military and pro-cop. Can you be both?
Yes, I can be both. Again, you know, my thing is, you know, you have to enter onto the scene one way. You know, people like Muhammad Ali and Bill Russell, they were one way their whole career. You can't show us something and then go to another just because of, you know, certain issues. Again, I'm aware of all the issues, but, you know, my question is, how come you didn't do it last year? Or how come you didn't do it when you first entered the NFL? Again, I don't know, Colin, to each his own, you know. He has his, you know, it's his, you know, constitutional right to do that, but I would never do that.
Well, something they do at the conclusion of a great career is they induct people into the Hall of Fame, and Shaquille O'Neal is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for basketball.
You're going to make me cry, Stop.
This week, this class is Yao Ming and Allen Iverson.
And Allen Iverson and Tom Izzo and Cheryl Swoops.
That's a great class.
Great class.
Congratulations.
And here's your ring right here. How do you like this? By Zales.
You're not allowed to wear it
Shaq
until
is
you
not
go in.
allowed to put it on.
Yes.
What size is that?
That's size 17.
Wow.
Of course it is.
And Zales is the official ring provider for the Hall of Fame. And that ring right there is fabulous. And
I know you can't put it on. Ainsley, would you like to try it on?
I would love to.
I can't do it. I can't do it. No,
you want to get down on your knee?
No, I can't do it. It's bad luck if I put it on.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that is huge. There's so much room there. I would lose it. That is incredible.
And I've been with Zales now for about 5 years. I also have a Shaquille O'Neal men's collection there. And this is what I'm going to do.
What?
For the people.
Yep.
From now until Sunday, you go to Zales, you get 10% off on regular jewelry, and on the Shaq O'Neal jewelry, we'll give you 15% off.
Wow.
Well, you have the power to do that from
Yes,
the couch?
I do. Yes, I do.
Wow, but the power vested in you.
Yeah, from now to Sunday, though.
Right.
The Zale sale.
Yes, the
Shaq,
Zales
you know,
sale.
a great personality, a big personality, but I remember even when you were broken your rookie year, happy Orlando was to have you, Miami would have you, and so Los Angeles. Did you envision this day from day one?
Yes and no. My father taught me as a youngster that if I followed his plan and if I go out and play with passion and energy, that this day would happen. I never really thought about it, but I just wanted to make him happy, make my mom happy, make the fans happy, and just go out and play with a certain type of energy.
I think you've done that.
But,
last night, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. But ever since day one, ever since being a youngster, everything that my parents told me would happen has happened. So little kids out there, make sure you listen to your mom and dad.
Oh, that's such great advice. Last night I was at the U.S. Open, and we're watching the game.
And you look
we're watching
fabulous.
the match. Thank you. And I was
super fabulous.
And I was sitting behind the photographers, and the moment
Incredibly
your face,
fabulous.
you're sweet. The moment his face came up on the big board, all the paparazzi turned immediately to the box where you were sitting, and you can't hide. There's no way you can hide. The whole crowd, instead of watching the match, started watching you.
But I wasn't watching the match, I was watching you.
Oh, look at this.
You look fabulous, as always.
Of course, because you're so tall, it's very helpful when you're in the professional basketball league. What is the one downside to being 7'1"?
Nothing really.
No.
You know, when I was young, I always wanted to be the same size as my friends, and I think it helped me to become an incredible athlete. Because my friends would go out and flip and jump off roofs and jump off pools, and I wanted to be little, so I did whatever they did. So to all my little friends, thank you.
Hey, Shaq, you also said that you really never displayed your whole game. That you have great dribbling skills, but you never asked to do that. Do you regret that?
A little bit. You know, like I see these guys stepping out, shooting jumpers. I actually had that, but I never got a chance to go to it because I got doubled and a triple team. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my career.
Fantastic.
I would say that's why you're going into Springfield, and in all seriousness, an incredible accomplishment, and it's going to be a great moment. And for you and your family, it's going to be special.
Are we going to walk around the block, me and you?
Yeah, we're going to do the celebrity stroll.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do that today. And I will get absolutely no attention.
Go to Zales and get some of the Shaquille O'Neal collection. It's on sale.
Go to Zales.
Today, again, from now until Sunday, regular jewelry 10% off, Shaq O'Neal jewelry 15% off.
All right.
I have the power to do that.
You do have the power to do it. Great to see you. Great friend of
Thank you, Shaq.
All right.
Hey, Steve, if we turn an ankle, Shaq should actually fill in for us because the chemistry between these two is unquantifiable.
What?
Would be less news channel and more schmooze channel.
Oh, good one.
All right. Hey, coming up next with Shaq's approval.
We are back with the latest from the campaign trail.
You think people are interested in this election? Donald Trump heading into hostile territory tonight as he and Hillary Clinton appear back-to-back in a military forum in New York.
Meanwhile, Fox News senior national correspondent John Roberts is live in Philadelphia with what we can expect in the coming day. Hello, John.
Good morning to you, Steve, Brian, and Ainsley out in front of the Union League here in downtown Philadelphia, where Donald Trump will be speaking at 11 o'clock this morning. His military advisors expect that he could get a bit of a rough ride at that Commander-in-Chief's Forum tonight in New York City. It is being hosted by the Iraq-Afghanistan Veterans of America organization, which has been less than kind to Donald Trump, telling him back in January they wanted no part of the money that was coming out of that fundraiser that he held for veterans in Iowa, and still actively circulating a petition online demanding he apologize for what he said about John McCain about a year ago. So his military advisors wanted him to lay down some markers in speeches yesterday in Virginia Beach and in Greenville, North Carolina, and then again today here at the Union League to talk about his plans for the military and foreign policy and compare and contrast what he would do with what Hillary Clinton's record shows that she would likely do. Listen to what he said in Greenville, North Carolina last night.
Hillary Clinton favors what has been called military adventurism, creating power vacuums filled by terrorist groups like ISIS. I believe in a foreign policy based on our national interests that focus on American security and regional stability, instead of using our military to create democracies in countries with no democratic history.
So what Donald Trump will be talking about today here at the Union League in Philadelphia is a number of different points. Rebuilding the military. He'll talk about ending the sequester, how to pay for ending the sequester and upping the military budget, as well as ending the policy of regime change and building democracies abroad in places where he says democracy might not work. He'll also be talking about missile defense. And we're also going to get Ainsley, Brian, and Steve this morning the latest fundraising numbers from the Trump campaign for the month of August. Donald Trump yesterday predicting a big number, though so he admits a lot of the money that went into the pot was out of his own pocket. But we'll see if he can match what Hillary Clinton brought in, which was well over $100 million, with about $60 million of that going to her campaign. Back to you.
The fundraising numbers are going to be huge. All right, John Roberts, we thank you very much.
Huge.
Alberto Gonzales served as one of George W. Bush's top aides on September the 11th, 2001, and as Attorney General, he was at the center of the emotional debates over how to tackle the very complicated war on terror. Now he has written a brand new book. It has come out yesterday. It's called True Faith and Allegiance, detailing the administration's crucial choices surrounding September 11th. And joining us right now is former Attorney General Alberto Gonzales. Good morning to you.
It's good to be back in New York City. What a great town.
No kidding. Of course, it was 15 years ago this Sunday here in New York City and in Washington, D.C. at the Pentagon that, tragedy struck. It's hard to believe it was that long. What's your primary remembrance when you go back to that day in your head?
Actually, it's that evening. Karen Hughes was the communications director. We stood on the Oval Office porch and watched as Marine One landed, bringing President Bush home that historic day. And I remember thinking or wondering, what would I see in his face? Both Karen and I had worked for Bush when he was governor of Texas, so we've known him for a while. And so as soon as he got off that helicopter, he walked toward us. We greeted him, and he sort of acknowledged us and just walked straight into the Oval Office. And when I saw that face, I knew we were going to be okay. He was determined. He was angry. But he knew that he had a job to do to protect his country.
And ultimately, to protect the country, some decisions were made. One of them, waterboarding. That's one of the things that you talk about in your new book.
Well, I wanted to talk about all the controversial issues. I didn't want the critics to say Gonzales.
Well, that's the headline.
Gonzales avoided all this. And so, unlike New York Senator Chuck Schumer, who said under certain circumstances it would be okay to torture, President Bush gave us a directive: we're not going to engage in torture. And so the job of the lawyers was to work very hard over a series of months to come up with guidance to ensure that whatever we did would be consistent with the anti-torture statute.
Right, and the way that the letter that laid it out, the way they did the waterboarding was going to be legal and not considered torture.
Exactly. The lawyers worked very hard. Now, listen, I know this is a very controversial issue, and some people take issue with the ultimate decision about doing something like this, but we did it because we thought it was effective, we thought it was necessary, and ultimately the lawyers concluded at the Department of Justice that it could be lawful.
Yeah. Can we switch gears to today's politics?
Okay.
What do you make of what's going on with Hillary Clinton and the email and the FBI? And now Jason Chaffetz was on a half an hour ago talking to Brian about how he's written a letter to the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., saying, hey, you got to have an investigation, because after we asked for all the records, we sent him a letter, save all the records, and we subpoenaed them, they erased them.
Yeah, I don't know what the FBI looked at, what their investigation included.
But that is clearly against the law, isn't it?
Well, because typically Congress or the FBI or an investigator will give you notice. You have to preserve all information and all evidence, and after that, you could be charged with obstruction of justice. So I don't know what I don't know. That's when people ask, what do you think about what's going on here? I don't know what I don't know, but I can understand why some Americans, many Americans, are frustrated. They're mystified about, well, how could this be? How could someone do this and get away with it? Weren't any laws broken here? But again, I don't know what I don't know. I wish I had more information, and then I could give you a more intelligent answer.
Have you figured out what you're going to do on November 8th when it comes to voting?
I'm still making up my mind.
Because I heard you last night, and you said that. You haven't decided yet.
I'm still making up that's why isn't that the reason we're going to have these 3 presidential debates? To try to get more information, try to inform the American public. I want to see Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton standing side by side answering these questions.
See, I just figured you would be an automatic Republican vote.
Well, I believe in Republican values, no question about it. There's a lot about the party that I believe in, but I think all of us, all Americans, need to look at each of these candidates and decide who is best to lead this country, who is best for me and my family. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for me and my family.
Okay, well, you'll be watching Fox News Channel, we hope, on the night of the debates.
Absolutely.
All right, the new book is called True Faith and Allegiance. Alberto Gonzales, the former Attorney General of the United States. Thank you, sir.
It's good to be with you.
Good to have you.
I believe the L.A. Times or CNN.
This will be the first time we've had him on the program live since the day after Donald Trump announced him at the big show in Cleveland.
Exactly right.
I wonder if he's going to be nervous.
Are
no,
we?
I think he's done this a time or two.
I think so, too.
All right, so yesterday Donald Trump was on a plane. He's taking some questions, as is Hillary Clinton. One of the questions was, hey, when are you going to release your tax returns? Oh, yeah, I'll do it when Hillary Clinton releases her emails. So it looks like she'll do that. Hillary Clinton was trying to change the subject from the FBI investigation and the notes that were released, and here they are both.
Clearly, his tax returns tell a story that the American people deserve and need to know. And if he's going to pursue this campaign, he owes it to the American people to come clean and release those tax returns.
Nobody cares about it except some of the folks in the media. Nobody cares about it. How does she talk about my tax returns? She has 33,000 emails that she deleted. When is she going to release her emails? She probably knows how to find it. Let her release her emails, and I'll release my tax returns immediately.
That might be the last time that she mentions that, because if she says, you need to release your tax returns, he's going to come back constantly and say, where are those deleted emails, and remind all of you about this email scandal.
Yeah, some more of that quid pro quo stuff. So we asked you what you thought about that. Steve, another Steve out there in TV land, wrote this. How about Hillary releasing her speeches to Wall Street before Trump releases his tax returns? I don't care how much money Trump made. I do care about Hillary and how much money she made and their money.
Kelly tweets, good for Trump. Tax returns are irrelevant. Deliberately deleting documents concerning the security of the U.S. is very relevant.
It would be a lot easier if he just released them, but he says he's under audit. Meanwhile, Jessica says this, 2 wrongs don't make a right. If he wants to be president, he has to be better than the competition.
All right. We're going to talk to Governor Mike Pence, a Republican from Indiana, coming up within the half hour. So stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, a brand new email bombshell for Hillary Clinton this morning. I know you've heard a lot about it. Well, we got something new.
There's some new claims that she and her staff tried to plant questions during that first hearing on Benghazi.
Yup. Now Clinton is desperately trying to change the subject. Mike Emanuel is live on the campaign trail in Westchester, New York. Mike.
Brian Ainsley, Steve, good morning. Hillary Clinton has tried to move her campaign forward, talking about national security after weeks of questions about her email and Clinton Foundation controversies. Clinton was in Tampa, Florida, near U.S. Central Command, the military headquarters there, talking about national security and foreign policy. She took aim at Donald Trump's policies, for example, on nuclear weapons.
He's very loose in his talk about nukes. He says he doesn't care if other countries get them, doesn't know why they haven't been used already. I mean, it's so mind-boggling. When I hear these things, I say that can't be true. And then they replay it for me again.
Our colleague Catherine Herridge is out with a new report about the Clinton team's interaction with the then acting chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Bob Menendez of New Jersey. Citizens United has released a January 2013 email from then Clinton aide Philippe Rines to Chelsea Clinton ahead of a foreign relations hearing looking into the Benghazi terror attack, writing, quote, "We wired it that Menendez would provide an opportunity to address 2 topics we needed to debunk: her actions, whereabouts on 9/11, and these emails from Chris Stevens about moving locations." Then there was this moment in the foreign relations hearing with Menendez playing a leading role.
Can you give us your insights on the decision-making process regarding the location of the mission? And as part of that, can you also, in your response, you touched upon it in your opening statement, but what actions were you and your staff taking the night of September 11th and into September the 12th?
As for the campaign, Hillary Clinton is back here in New York ahead of her appearance in a televised national security forum. Steve, Ainsley, Brian.
All right, Mike Emanuel, thank you very much, live from Westchester. Well, that was some good acting there, where Menendez from my state of New Jersey pretty much read the script.
It just shows what Hillary Clinton's concerns were going into those hearings and her plotting to make her look good.
And those 2 people are her key aides. Her daughter, who's a big advisor, and, of course, her daughter. And Philippe Rines is the guy, right? Rines,
long-time spokesperson and message handler
since the time when she was senator in New York.
That's right. Well, Jason Chaffetz, he's the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. He's saying enough is enough, and he's asking for a new investigation. He's asking the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia to investigate this email scandal because it just continues to get worse and worse. Apparently, her aides and contractors, they tried to delay the congressional inquiry by deleting emails. So they were subpoenaed. These emails were supposed to They were subpoenaed.
Hillary got the subpoena. She got a letter from Congress saying, save everything.
Right, and she didn't. And her aides went and deleted it all. They purged a handful of these emails.
Yeah. So Jason Chaffetz is looking into the possibility. He sat down with Brian less than an hour ago talking about how, look, we're thinking about a new hearing because we didn't have all the evidence then. We don't have all of it yet, but we got more. Listen to this.
When we had our hearing with Director Comey, I asked him very specifically if he had looked at what Hillary Clinton had said under oath, and he said he never even looked at that type of thing, didn't even take it into consideration. So the House of Representatives got to stand up for itself. I'm tired of Congress and its feckless, just sending off letters and not doing anything. We actually have some equities here that we have to protect, and to protect those federal records. The FBI, since that time, has come out and said they found 14,900 more emails. The Associated Press is suing the State Department because they still can't even get Hillary Clinton's calendar from 2009. So there are a lot of documents and things out there the public has a right to have. They're federal records. They're not her emails, and we are going to get to the truth.
And they are getting back those calendars. They're going to be released, I think, at the end of this month. Originally, they said we're going to hold on to them, which there's no reason for them to hold on to them. They're online. They exist. There's no reason to hold on to the calendars.
She works for us. We pay. If you work for the government, you work for us. We should be able to see what your calendar looks like.
Yeah, but then maybe the calendar shows on Tuesday she met with somebody from somewhere, and on Thursday, as we know from the book Clinton Cash, somebody gave some money to the Clinton Foundation.
That's the point. If you don't have anything to hide, let us read the emails. Let us see your schedule.
And it's the AP asking.
Yep. Another FOIA request. Meanwhile, Julian Assange gets documents not through FOIA, but through hackers who give them to WikiLeaks. He was on with Sean Hannity last night saying Hillary Clinton said to the FBI, according to the files, that she didn't know what the C in brackets meant. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a lie, according to Mr. Assange. Listen.
Hillary Clinton says that she can't remember what a C in brackets stands for. Everyone in positions of government and in WikiLeaks knows it stands for classified confidential. And in fact, we have already released thousands of cables by Hillary Clinton. Here she is, Clinton. See, that's her signature, Clinton, with the C in bracket right there. Thousands of examples where she herself has used this C in brackets and signed it off, and more than 22,000 times that she has received cables from others with this C in brackets. So it's absolutely incredible for Clinton to lie. She is lying about not knowing what that is.
He's saying because she's been in public office for so long, her husband was president, she sent and received thousands, not just one, thousands. So she had to know what the C stood for.
The more you read, and I got all the pages over here
Do you have
from the 39 on those 39 pages from that from the investigation, from the notes. The more you read, the more you think that you might be right from last week, or 2 weeks ago, when you said there's political pressure on the FBI. The pressure could have gotten to, makes you get one conclusion. It is so disillusioning to think that a government official will try to put that over pull the wool over our eyes in that rudimentary of a fashion, and that the FBI might be complicit.
Just one other thing Julian Assange says, he's got many more that they're going to be releasing in batches, could come next week or the week after. So we could have not only an October surprise, but a September surprise.
He definitely said they'll all be released before the election.
Yeah. All right. 327. That's how many times Hillary Clinton and her aides were unable to recall facts about the private email server setup, including details around its setup and whether Clinton asked permission to use a personal email account at all. All important questions.
All right, here with his reaction, Daniel Halper is the Washington, D.C. bureau chief of the New York Post. Daniel, you put this number together. Are you stunned by it?
Yeah, it's very, very high, obviously, higher than anybody, I think, would guess. The Republican National Committee, they scoured the transcripts of various depositions, FBI notes from 4 Clinton aides, including Hillary Clinton, Cheryl Mills, Huma Abedin, and Patrick Kennedy, and they came up with this number, 327 times when they were asked a certain question and all of a sudden they were hit with amnesia. So it's kind of convenient for them not to remember key facts in this investigation, and I think it's interesting that we're just learning about this now.
Key embarrassing facts, Daniel. Some of these people were attorneys, and if they told something that would harm Hillary Clinton's chances to be president of the United States, that would blow everything up.
Yeah, at least half of them are attorneys. It's interesting. If you talk to any attorney, if you talk to any prosecutor, they would tell you, well, of course anybody the subject of a criminal investigation is going to tell you they can't remember or they didn't or deny anything. What's interesting about this case in particular, I think, is that there was a lot of deference given to their word. So the fact that when Hillary Clinton says she doesn't know that C stands for confidential or classified on these markings on some of these notes, why is she believed? Why is the assumption that she is telling the truth? Why isn't the assumption that she isn't, and looking for further facts to perhaps bolster that case? I think lots of subjects in criminal investigations were never given the benefit of the doubt. It's interesting that these politically connected, powerful people have been.
What about the benefit of having Cheryl Mills sit in on your interview? Why was that allowed? Why was she allowed to storm out and not come back?
Well, it's interesting because Cheryl Mills was Hillary's lawyer, right? So, of course, you're allowed to have your lawyer present. The weird thing is she was also a subject of this criminal investigation, so it's kind of strange and perhaps unheard of for that connection to be allowed for you both, the lawyer also to be the subject, and so for her to be able to hear multiple interviews and hear what's going on. It's not common practice.
Then again, you know, maybe they don't know the answer, and maybe they don't recall. Maybe they weren't in on the decisions, but nonetheless, when you look at the number, it's like, whoa, that's some number.
We'll never know. That's the problem. We'll never know what she really believes, what she really knows. Unfortunately, investigators didn't see it worth pursuing the facts outside of it. We can only, you know, they took their word at face value.
Jason Chaffetz isn't stopping. The chairman of oversight says he's going to start looking into it because of things like that 327 number. Daniel Halper, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Clearly, his tax returns tell a story that the American people deserve and need to know. And if he's going to pursue this campaign, he owes it to the American people to come clean and release those tax returns.
Nobody cares about it except some of the folks in the media. Nobody cares about it. How does she talk about my tax returns? She has 33,000 emails that she deleted. When is she going to release her emails? She probably knows how to find it. Let her release her emails, and I'll release my tax returns immediately.
Okay, so now we got a deal. He will release his taxes when she releases those emails. Joining us right now live from his hometown of Indianapolis, we got the governor of that great state, Mike Pence. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
So what do you think? Do you think Hillary Clinton's going to take Donald Trump up on that? She will release those emails, and then he'll have to release his taxes?
Yeah, well, look, Donald Trump and I have made it both clear that we're both going to release our tax returns. Mine will be out later this week. It'll be a quick read for me, and he'll release his tax returns after the audit is done. But last night you heard Donald Trump, I think essentially double down on the really important issue in this campaign, which is the fact that what's becoming more evident to the American people every day is that while she was Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation were taking major foreign donors' contributions to that foundation, and as the AP reported, those individuals, major donors, were more than half of the meetings that she granted while she was Secretary of State. This pay-to-play politics has begun to come to light for the American people, but it's time for Hillary Clinton to come clean and make all of those emails available. I mean, I have to tell you, it really is breathtaking when you look at it, that after the New York Times first reported that she had a private server in early March of last year, there was congressional requests, there were specific and official requests for all of those emails to be preserved, and then we find out in sometime between March 25th and March 31st that the company that operated her private server used a high-tech system called BleachBit to completely eradicate all of those emails. You know, that doesn't look like politics to me. That looks like obstruction. And the American people deserve to know what was in those emails so that they have the full record of Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State and the activities of the Clinton Foundation.
Now that all this has come to light, do you think that's the reason that you're doing better in the polls? You and Donald Trump are ahead by 2 points according to the latest CNN poll.
No, I think the reason that Donald Trump is catching on all over America, now evident in the polls, is because of his message. I mean, I mean, Donald Trump and I are campaigning all across the country. Earlier this week in Ohio together. I'll be in California the next 2 days. He's last night in the Carolinas. The message that Donald Trump is delivering to make America great again, focusing on security, on prosperity, on the Supreme Court of the United States, and on ensuring that we have the highest standards of integrity and the highest office in the land, is connecting to the American people. We're winning more hearts and more minds every day, and I think November 8th is going to be a great, great victory for all the people of this country.
Governor, if you look inside the numbers, and I know you do, if you want to be victorious, you have to be the first to do something Republicans have traditionally maybe taken for granted, and that's win over white, college-educated voters. You're losing in 30 of the 50 states by a substantial margin. What's not resonating?
Well, look, I actually think it's still early in this election. I mean, we just passed through Labor Day. We were canvassing, both campaigns were canvassing across the battleground state of Ohio. And now, quite frankly, I think people all across the spectrum are really beginning to focus. Undecided voters are beginning to focus. And I think they look at Donald Trump, who's now laid out a plan to get the economy moving again, to end illegal immigration, to name and to confront and to destroy ISIS and radical Islamic terrorism as a threat to the world. This entire agenda is resonating with people across the country. All we get from Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine is insults, but insults are not a plan. And the American people are responding to the positive agenda Donald Trump has to make America great again, and I think you're going to continue to see great momentum in this campaign.
Well, Governor, I think a lot of Americans are embarrassed by the fact that on the world stage, America looks kind of weak. I mean, we've been showing these images of the little Iranian boats harassing the big American ships. Over the weekend, we saw the Chinese wouldn't bring out the special American staircase. It wouldn't roll out the red carpet. The president had to take the back steps in the back end of the airplane.
What about the Philippine president saying disparaging terms about President Obama?
How do we reestablish respect around the world? Because right now it's sorely wanting.
Well, there's no question the last 7.5 years of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton's leadership on the world stage has weakened America's place in the world, and it's eroded American credibility. The way we restore American credibility is by electing a president who will command the respect of the world. All of those incidents that you talk about just in the past week all demonstrate that whether it be the vulgar diatribe of the president of the Philippines or the unwillingness of people working on the tarmac in China to roll the staircase up to Air Force One, I think they really give evidence of a lack of respect for this president and a lack of respect for this country that is totally unacceptable. Now, Hillary Clinton's comment I saw in the New York Times this morning was that with the refusal to roll the staircase up, Donald Trump's pledge that we would have just shut the door and flown the plane off. She said something like, well, you got to get off the plane and do the work. No, Hillary, what you have to do is command the respect of the world. And Donald Trump made it clear if they weren't going to wheel the staircase up, the plane was going to roll. And I guarantee you 5 minutes after that tower was informed in Beijing that we were going to roll, I guarantee you that staircase would have been rolled up to Air Force One and the president would have been able to walk off with dignity.
There's no G20 without America.
Now, Governor, Hillary Clinton was on her plane. We've seen this over the last few days. And one of the reporters who was in the back had an orange and wrote in a black Sharpie, who would you rather have dinner with, Donald Trump or Putin? You can see it there. Rolled the orange down the aisle of the plane up to Hillary Clinton, and she rolled it back, and she circled Putin. So it doesn't look like you guys are going to have dinner with her anytime soon. She'd rather have dinner with Putin.
Well, it's, this is, I mean, look, the orange got rolled on my plane as well, and we had a little fun with it.
What did you circle?
It did? Yeah, what did you circle?
Well, yeah, they actually asked me what my favorite song from Sixpence None the Richer was, and I said it was Holiday for Two, but this is a little bit of stress relief for everybody. But look, I mean, quite honest, I think the Clinton campaign actually is clarifying the orange now and saying they misunderstood the question. I mean, look, Donald Trump showed in Mexico City, even with a president in Mexico with whom he has strong differences of opinion, he's going to be the kind of president that can sit down with anybody. Hillary Clinton says she can't even agree to sit sit down for dinner with Donald Trump. I just got to tell you, the American people know Donald Trump is going to be the kind of leader that's going to be able to work with leaders across this country and across the world.
Putin is the new orange, apparently.
Real quick, Governor. One of the never-Trumpers who was a very big critic of Donald Trump has decided to support, and he says, I'm voting for Mark Levin. What does that mean?
Well, I have enormous respect for Mark Levin. He's been a tremendously important voice in the conservative movement, and I can tell you, Donald Trump and I couldn't be more grateful to have his support. But I think it's also emblematic that leaders around the country are being drawn to his positive message to make America great again. Donald Trump and I are going to continue to travel across the country, not with a series of speeches that are essentially predicated on insults, but a series of speeches that focus on where the American people are focused, and that is on jobs and on security, on ensuring the strict constructionists are appointed to the Supreme Court of the United States, and that we're going to have a president that will uphold the highest standards of office in the highest standards of integrity, rather, in the highest office in the land. That message is resonating. We're tremendously grateful for Mark Levin's support, even more grateful for the people across the country who are coming out to these rallies, and more people recognize that when we elect Donald Trump, we'll make America great again.
Okay, well, you got a busy day. We thank you very much for stopping by, not far from the governor's residence there in Indianapolis. Mike Pence. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Governor.